the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on a Tuesday morning. We are so glad that you join us each and every day here on the Auburn Blitz, wherever and whenever it is that you join us each and every day, and making Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake. Our podcast is brought to you each and every morning by the Glenda Mitchell Law Firm, and we are so excited to be partnered with one of the best law firms in the country. And again, if you need a fighter for you after a car accident or anybody in your family, Glenda Mitchell is the lady to call. She is a fighter for you. She gives you her personal cell phone number, and she will make sure the insurance companies do what they're supposed to do. So we are proud to have Glenda Mitchell, and I'm proud to see Faith Richardson this morning. It's been a minute. Glad to have you back. Faith, good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you. It was only one day, but because of the weekend, maybe it made it feel a little.
Well, we recorded on Thursday, so it's kind of extended out. So yeah. Anyway, we're just glad to have you back.
I'm glad to be back, Brett. You know, it does feel like a little bit of time for me, but hey, it's good to be back.
Yeah, it is, and right on cue, we have a boatload of stuff to talk about this morning.
Nothing short for us to talk about from the list of things, right?
Yeah, I mean, as you can see over here, there's plenty to get to. This is a recorded pod, so for all of you out there that are going to start crying, I'm sorry. It is a recorded pod. You can comment over here as you watch and listen. And again, we appreciate all of you so much, but we have to be on the road early this morning, so we had to do a recorded podcast. So again, we appreciate all of you so much. And yeah, please feel free to interact with each other over here in the comments. But basketball program moving forward, what does not just the rest of the season look like, but what does this program look like moving forward? We'll dive into that. What are the biggest issues for this team for the remainder of the season? What are the concerns? Most bubble prognosticators have Auburn safely in right now, but can they stay there? That's the question. You got 6 SEC regular season games remaining, and then you have the SEC tournament. What does Auburn need to do to make sure they make the NCAA tournament? Obviously, that is goal and priority number one every single year, and has been for a long time now around here, all the way back to 2018. Only missing the tournament one time. Jordan-Hare remodel and addition to the north end zone. We'll talk about that. It seems like there's some mixed feelings about that from fans for multiple reasons, just like there were mixed feelings about the first home game being moved from Jordan-Hare to Atlanta coming up this season. And look, I see both sides of it. I'm not here to advocate one way or the other, but we're open to talk about it. So that's what we're going to do. And then as we creep closer to spring football, yes, we're going to break down. We've talked about a lot of what the assistant coaches have been talking about. We're going to get more into that the rest of the week. But thought we would, as I talked about this with Jason yesterday, Faith, I mean, Auburn really has one guy that had significant playing time back on this offense. And it is just amazing in major college football that you return really one guy that had prominent minutes and prominent production. That's Jeremiah Cobb. Can he be not only the unsung leader for Auburn, but could he be the leader of this league when it comes to running the football? And he's going to have company on this team with Byron Brown and Bryson Washington, which is a good thing. But we'll dive into all of that as well. But, first things first, this basketball team, Faith, is on a 4-game skid, which is not good after it went on a 4-game winning streak. So it's kind of canceled itself out. The team sits at 5-7 right now on the season, 14-11 overall, with 6 games remaining in SEC play. The next one up is Mississippi State on Wednesday night at 8:00. And, Jason, I talked about it yesterday, Faith. You hate to say must win, but it kind of feels like you really need to go win this game.
Yeah. So I was at the Ole Miss Mississippi State game, so I did get to see this Mississippi State team up close and personal. And Hubbard, Josh Hubbard dropped 32 points in that game. He was unstoppable. Yeah, unstoppable, absolutely on fire. I mean, you give him the ball and he was going to just rip a three. He went 4 of 6 from the 3-point and then 12 of 16 from the 2. So,
he's that kind of player.
But he is kind of one of those guys that does have a little bit of inconsistency. And so obviously that being kind of a big game for both of these teams, just because, it's Mississippi State and Ole Miss. He was on fire. I mean, there's no other way to put it. But between him and the rest of some of those guys, I mean, there wasn't anyone else that stood out to make you super concerned other than Aker. He was somebody that was also having a good night. He had 18 points, 3 of 4 from 3 and 6 of 8 inside the 2. And so between those two guys, I mean, that's who you're looking at and how you're going to be able to defend them. And the 3-point line, the perimeter out there is what Auburn is going to have to really take control of, and they have not done a good job at that. Ole Miss's defense is really, really bad and sloppy, and so they were able to just get open left and right. So hopefully Auburn's defense is going to look a little bit better than Ole Miss's, but that's how you're going to have to stop this Mississippi State team, and it's a big one because obviously Keyshawn Murphy is from.
Oh yeah, this is his old team.
Mm-hmm. So Murph is going to have a big night himself, I'm sure, going back there, and there's just a lot.
Well, I think you said a mouthful. Here's the concern. I hear you on playing defense, but here's the problem with that. If Keyshawn Hall's not available again, it's the same situation Auburn had Saturday night against Arkansas. You played solid in the first half. You fought, but you're seeing these teams wear Auburn down because it takes a lot of energy to play defense the way you need to play defense. And that affects you offensively as well. And when teams are playing 9 and 10 guys and you're playing 6 or maybe 7, if you want to throw a bone out there now that Keyshawn Hall is out, you're almost asking the impossible. And I hate to sound like a broken record on here day after day, but it's the truth. And, again, on paper, this is not a very good Mississippi State team. If you look at the quality teams they played, the Arkansas, the Tennessees, the Alabamas, the Kentuckys, they've had their doors blown off. They've won against Oklahoma. They beat Ole Miss, but they've split now with Ole Miss. They lost to Ole Miss the first time. And so now they split that game, but Vanderbilt beat them by 33 points. They beat LSU. Missouri knocked them off. So where does Auburn stand in the rank order of those teams I just named? Well, Auburn's 14-11 and Mississippi State's 12-13 now. And when you look at the standings, Auburn has 5 SEC wins and Mississippi State has 4. So you're going to their place. Now, I'm just being honest. And people may not like to hear what I'm going to say, but Mississippi State's looking at this game as one of their, hey, we got to have this in our building. They're not looking at this, oh, this is Auburn rolling in. We need to play perfect to have a chance to win. They're looking at this going, hey, this can get us a win that's going to help our resume, and it's a very winnable game in our building. I think that's the approach, Faith. And then when you got, like you said, Hubbard that can scorch the nets, if Auburn is lagging on the 3-point line like they have the last several games, and Stephen Pearl stressed that, then he can sit there and he can shoot your eyeballs out and you can be in a mess. So, I just want to look back and, I haven't really looked and studied Mississippi State that much, but, from a bench standpoint, looking at their box score from this past Saturday, I mean, they played 10 guys. I mean, 25, 28, and 15 from 3 of them. Now, one had 3 minutes, but outside of that, they played 9 guys. Grace had 3 minutes. The other 3 had significant minutes, and they contributed in this deal. Now, Hubbard had 32, but Aker had 18. I mean, this is a team you can't take lightly. But when I look at the rest of the schedule, Faith, this is one Auburn's looking at going, we got to get this one. So both teams are in the same boat.
How do you think that, because I haven't obviously been on since Keyshawn Hall being
suspended.
Benched.
Yep.
Yeah. And, a few different comments I've seen that he's benched indefinitely for the rest of the season. And then there are some that have said that, it's up to him to decide when he's going to come back. He has to be the one to make the difference. But you have Keyshawn Hall out, and Tahad comes in and scores 29 points, still losing the game. But it is interesting to see the games that Tahad has a good night and where the minutes lie from Keyshawn Hall. But my problem is if we at this point have seen 2 guys get benched for not living up to the standard off the court.
Right. What's the problem?
And the thing is I remember last year we were talking to somebody and he was talking all about how Bruce Pearl loves to go out and get guys that are a project. He likes to get guys that he can really work and, instill qualities of life, how to be a man, and obviously basketball qualities too. But he liked to work on a project. And I think now with Steven, it's not as much as him. He doesn't want that to be his project. He doesn't want to maybe individually work on these guys. He wants a basketball team. That's his project.
Made ready to go, not somebody that he's got to worry about trying to work on character issues maybe or development of the game, whatever. There was some kind of info that we received yesterday. And one thing that stood out to me on Stephen Pearl and kind of looking at what this basketball team may look like moving forward after this season is Stephen Pearl wants to recruit guys with length, obviously, that can defend. Well, that's a no-brainer. I didn't take somebody telling us to know where the deficiencies are and what you want to do, but kind of build a team similar to Houston's that can defend the entire length of the court. And again, not to be a, I guess, just a half-court team that drops back, but be able to be even more physical, I guess, than even Auburn has been the last few years. Everybody, and I remember Bruce Pearl saying this last year when Auburn played Houston, and everybody said going into that game with Houston, and then Steven said it this year playing Houston earlier, you got to match Houston's physicality. You got to match their what they do. That's what they hang their hat on. And Steven said, well, we like to think we play the same way. Why is everybody just talking about Houston being physical? Why don't they talk about us? We do the same thing. And Auburn had a chance to win that game, if you remember. Mm-hmm. And I thought they did match the physicality of Houston, which was great, who happens to be the number 2 team in the country now, by the way. But anyway, you match that physicality, but Auburn just doesn't have the depth, Faith, right now. Good intentions. I hear you. But the problem is you have a bench, and I don't know if you say you missed on some guys or whatever, but just from a sheer size standpoint, you don't have a team that can go out and do what Houston's doing this year. You did last year. You absolutely did last year. Now, here's the big debate is why doesn't Auburn have more of a team that looks like that this year? Didn't Auburn know? Did Auburn not put the money in? Did Auburn not have the budget? Whatever. I think all of that kind of comes into play here because you had to re-recruit Todd Pettiford. You went out and spent, $2+ million on Keyshawn Hall to get another score because you lost, Chad Baker-Mazzara. There are a lot of things that go into it, but it seems like moving forward that Stephen Pearl is going to make that a priority. Now, whether he can go out and coerce and convince that type of guy to come play for him is yet to be seen because the season's still playing. We don't know what the offseason looks like. But with one signee on this team, Caleb Williams, coming in, unless you plan on keeping a majority, if you can keep SWA and Elijah Freeman and some of those guys to build off of, I mean, you're looking at another major portal haul again. And I don't think that's surprising to anybody. But can you get the quality guys you're looking for to play the style he's looking for?
Having KO play 38 minutes, Tahad playing – or no, KO playing 39, Tahad playing 38, and Elijah playing 36, and then both SWA and Murph playing 34
right,
is not going to be sustainable throughout tournament play.
That's the word. That's the word. You just nailed it. Sustainable. That is it. That's what we've been looking for.
Yeah, it's not going to work for them in a quick turnaround type game. And I mean, what is KO goes out there and he for 39 minutes
he had a horrible
only scores 5 points.
He had a horrible game shooting.
Yeah, 1 of 13, 0 for 5. That's just, and I don't want to say wasted minutes, but if there's somebody that can be put out there to score
right
more than 5 points.
Well, they don't have any, again, you don't. And again,
I mean, yeah, at this point, who's going to go in there and do that? I don't know, but
you look back at his game since you brought him up, he had 25 against Texas and needed them that night. Had 7 against Tennessee, had another one of those games where it just didn't fall. 17 against Alabama. Thought he had a really solid game there against Alabama. 10 against Vanderbilt, and you and I were there for that, and it was just a brutal game from start to finish. It was no energy. It was whatever. Just not a good environment. And then this Saturday, and Jason brought this up, and again, you can't fault KO because he happens to be one of the better three-point shooters on the team. And he was brought in to be a defensive guy. But he really morphed into this offensive guy. But at some point in time, you got to tell yourself, and I hate it because in basketball, you always think the next one is going to fall. But at some point in time, when you get to 1 of 8, maybe you need to go, all right, I need to temper it a little bit and distribute the basketball because it's just not my night. But he kept firing, and that's 13 possessions that you had. You only made 1 shot.
And he only had 1 assist that whole night.
So when you look at it from a total assist from the team, you had 10, and Arkansas had 19, and that's why they had, Acuff and Richmond both have career nights. Acuff not only put 31 points in, Faith, he had 7 assists to go with it, and Richmond had 25 and 4. So, when you look back at Pettiford with 29, he had a great night all the way around. He had 29 points, 7 assists, and 3 rebounds, only had 3 turnovers. Probably one of his, if not most complete games of the season.
Yeah, he had a good night.
But you brought up a point that we talked about yesterday. 25 against Georgia, 25 against Alabama, 21 against Vanderbilt, 29 against Arkansas. It's 4 high-scoring games, and they're all losses for Auburn. And it's not a knock on him. This is not a knock on Tahad. Like,
No.
I think everybody knows and wants him to be a scorer, but on this particular team, he has to be a distributor first and a scorer second. If he's having to score 25 a night, then this team is going to get more of the results that it's had when he's had those kind of nights.
Yeah. So moving forward, what does this Auburn team have to do to win what?
Well, they got to win 3. They got to win 3 of the next 6. I mean, that gets them to 8-10 in league play and 17-14 overall going into the SEC tournament. And I think you need to win a couple of games there too. But if you get to 3-3 in league play with the remaining 6, I think
So you want to win against Mississippi State, Ole Miss at home,
and LSU.
and LSU at
And then
home.
maybe figure out a way to get either the Kentucky game or the Alabama game. Hey, look, Oklahoma on the road's not going to be easy either.
No.
And, if they can keep their popcorn machine from catching on fire and running everybody out of the arena. So, but Oklahoma has been – I mean, we've talked about Oklahoma a bunch on the show.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not a bad basketball team, but it's on the road. And, again, when you go on the road in this league and with this particular Auburn team, you're going to have to fight every night because you just don't have the guys. So, I don't know what the combination is. If you get to 4-2, that puts you at 9-9 in league play and 18-13. I think you're firmly in the tournament at that point. But 3-3, you're right there. If you go 2-4, that puts you at 16-15 and 7-11 in the league, and that is dangerous territory. I think you got to do some damage in the SEC tournament at that point. I think you're going to be very, very close to missing the tournament at that point. So I think the magic numbers, can you win 3 of the next 6? And it starts tomorrow night on the road with a winnable game. If you lose that game now, Faith, you're down to 5. You got to win 3 of 5 with Kentucky coming in on Saturday, which, it should be an advantage being in Neville, but it is Kentucky. They are playing better. And we're just playing hypothetical here. If you drop those 2 games, now you're down to winning 3 of 4. And, can you win 3 of the last 4? You sure can. LSU, Ole Miss, and Oklahoma, and LSU and Oklahoma are at home, and they're at the bottom of the league. So you got to go steal one somewhere at Oklahoma or Alabama. You just rather go ahead and win Wednesday and not say, let's kick our heels up and put our hands behind our head and feel good about it. It just makes you feel like your back's not totally against the wall.
I want to say too, with this 4-game losing streak that Auburn is on right now,
right?
How do you, if you lose tomorrow, how do you get your confidence back coming? I think being at home is, giving you a little bit, but seriously, how do you get this team to rebuild its confidence and remotivate these guys to want to keep playing? And again, I mean, you're playing 30 plus minutes.
That's the million.
It's exhausting and it's mentally exhausting to just keep losing over and over again.
It's $1 million question. I don't know. I think it just boils down to you got to figure out a way to go on the road and get a big win. Yeah. Every win on the road's big, but Auburn didn't play bad against Arkansas. They didn't. And Keyshawn Murphy, nobody wants to go to Starkville and play better than him. I promise you.
Yeah.
So he is. He's had this game marked, and he's excited to be able to go back over there. And crowd's going to give him hell, just like Auburn gives. Aiden Holloway hell, and anybody that goes back to a place they played. I'm sure Boogie Flan in Florida, if Boogie Flan goes to Arkansas, he's going to catch. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. So, and unless you're Charles Bediaco and you catch hell everywhere you go. So, anyway, that's that. And I think, moving forward, we'll kind of see how that plays out tomorrow night. and we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. But let's talk about some of our partners here on the program because we could not do it without them.
Sensagreen, for air that is cool and clean, call on Sensagreen. It is finally getting a little tiny bit.
Shh. Don't say it. Don't say it too loud. The old cold will come back.
A little tiny bit of that spring feeling outside without the pollen. And so,
Oh gosh, yeah, here comes the pollen.
and so
The yellow
we
dust
want
cloud,
to make sure if we have a cold snap here in the next couple of weeks, while you've got the AC on right now, you might be wanting to kick it onto the heat, and you want a reliable unit, and that's going to be a Carrier unit. Sensagreen is going to save you hundreds of dollars. They are the ones that we trust the most and that you should trust the most because they're the best.
Absolutely. And another group that's the best is Scout Program Management. And you talk about hiring the best to do the job. Why do you hire a program management company to lead your project? It's because you don't have the expertise and knowledge to do it yourself. And if you try to cut corners, then you're going to get a mess and you're going to have to pay a lot of extra money for things that weren't done correctly. You hire Scout Program Management. They lead your project from the pre-construction phase all the way to the finished product and make sure that the contractors do what they say they're going to do and what they're expected to do. So if you don't hire them, then you have a mess. So it's very easy. Hire Scout Program Management. They are the best in the business. Check them out. All the projects they have going on around the state of Alabama speak for themselves. ScoutPM.com.
Bunkers in downtown Auburn. This is going to be the best place for you to go if you want to watch some of these basketball games, or if you want to go and, I don't know, get in on the line dancing, listen to some of the good live music, take part of the happy hour deals that they have and the food deals that they have, because again, it's hard to find anywhere to eat for a decent price. And Bunkers, with all their deals that they have, you're going to want to go and eat there. Downtown Auburn, 50 parking spaces, so you can just drive right up, park there, and then mosey on away after when you're done. But you're going to want to come right back.
You know what I've noticed, Faith, is we have partners that we look so forward to going to because they're so much fun. They have so much fun. They have great environments, and Bunkers is top notch. So
absolutely,
hey, we're going to have fun tomorrow here at the Cart Source.
Yes,
Alabama's premier golf cart superstore, located in Daville, Alabama, right off Highway 280, with a full array of the best in the business. Easy Go, Cushman, Yamaha, Club Car. They have everything you want. I don't know how you could go to their lot and go, well, I don't see anything that I want. I mean, it's impossible. And if you happen to be that person, guess what? They can custom order whatever it is that you're looking for, up to your highest level of pickiness out there, everybody. The sound systems, the tires, everything, the interior, they have it all, electric and gas powered. I don't ever mention that, but they do. Electric and gas powered. Faith will test drive all of them. And make sure you come out and see us if you're around the Daville area. Harrison's going to hook you up. Tell them Auburn Blitz sent you. Call them ahead, 334-231-2205, the Cart Source. Again, just so many awesome partners that we have.
Oh
here.
My gosh. And it's going to be 70 degrees on Wednesday. Are you kidding me? I'm going to be driving those golf carts so fast. My hair is going to be blowing in the wind. I'm going to be so excited.
I mean, am I going to be able to, are you going to be available to do the show at all? Or are you just going to Zoom
I'll leave Lucy there for you to do the show with her.
That's fine.
Because I don't know if she's going to even want to be on the golf cart with me.
Probably not.
Her sweet little ears would be flowing in the wind, and she'd look so cute, though. Or maybe you might be SOL.
Yeah, probably so. I may have to do it by myself. Anyway, if somebody wants to come and hang out with me on Wednesday while Faith zooming around on the roads nearby, please.
You might be going up and down Highway 280 because that's where it is.
Get out on Highway 280, please. Okay, let's just not do that. Harrison's already going. Do they need to show up?
He's probably like, I don't think that she should come anymore.
Yeah, I think I'm having second thoughts on this. All right, Jordan-Hare Stadium remodel. We won't spend a ton of time on this, but it seems like John Cohen is moving forward. The athletic department He was quoted as saying this could be an unmatched project in all of college football, multi-use space and premium seating. Just a really, really great opportunity to enhance, because I know Jordan Hare's a little bit older, and, Auburn's done a really good job of trying to renovate and enhance the experience now with 2 jumbotrons and then adding the seating in the corners of the end zone for corporate. And, this is going to be more of an envisioned like area like Alabama has in the end zones where, you have a lounge area, you can walk in and out, kind of pavilion type seating. The only issue I've seen on Twitter so far are the people that have, seats in that area. They're concerned about, losing their seats. They've been there. Saw several people tweet out that you had seats there for 25, 30 years, and it's a great seating priority area. And obviously the pricing is going to go up and all that. And that happens. My question, Faith, to you is, in this day and age where everybody's spending 40 million, 50 million on a roster, and Auburn, I've already said this, had perfect timing on the football only facility. It was right there before all of this really hit. So Auburn has this beautiful, awesome facility that it can recruit to. And of course you want the environment in the stadium to continue to get better. But I mean, you're talking another major investment. You're asking boosters and donors for major investments for the roster every year. And now you're adding this facility upgrade. You just had a upgrade with the jumbotron. I mean, it just seems like fans keep getting hit left and right. And then there was the fallout from moving the game from Jordan Hare to Atlanta with Baylor. And I see both sides because, again, you're getting a big payday to go do that. So you add that to your war chest to try to bring more players. It's just wild.
I don't think there's a right and wrong answer here, but what does concern me is that if Jordan Hare ends up like Neville Arena, where you can't get in there for, less than a couple $100 for some of these big games, and it's not the same environment that it was, because it is a lot of, big companies giving their tickets
Right.
out to people that maybe aren't the biggest Auburn fans themselves or aren't diehard Auburn fans, versus some of the super intense Auburn people that want to go there, cheer the whole time and have a really good time bringing their families and stuff. And they don't get the opportunity to do that because they don't have enough money to, pay some of these bigger prices. So that kind of makes me think about just how the seat prices are going to increase, obviously, all over the place. But, you want to have somewhere, kind of like that lounging area that you can have to impress companies and that kind of stuff and corporate people. But, like you said, I see it from both sides. I get, you want to make money and give people an experience. And
Right.
I don't know, but it is all just money, 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 money. That's all we talk about. That's all we hear about.
Yeah.
And I think it's just coming on at a really
Maybe not the
rough
best time.
time, like a
Yeah,
really
maybe
quick
not the best
time.
time. And I think you bring up a great point, and a lot of people at Media Row were up there with me the other night talking about the environment in the Vanderbilt game. It just wasn't the same. And I know that people say, well, the environment is only as good as the team that's on the floor. And look, I'm going to say this. I think Auburn's got a good basketball. This is not some dunk team. I mean, this is not – and maybe they weren't exuding the best energy, but I remember the days where not too long ago, I mean, even last year in prior years under Bruce Pearl, that every time, no matter what the score is in the game, when the opposing team had the basketball, Faith, it was deafening. You could not hear yourself in there,
Mhm.
and it was a true nuisance. We were literally whispering to each other on Media Row, and we're kind of looking at each other going, you never used to could have ever been able to do this. And
Yeah.
you're just having a general casual conversation now. And I don't have a perfect answer for it, like you said, but there's a lot of people buying $300-400 tickets on StubHub to go sit and go stand in standing room only. And then you look down and there's an array of empty seats, people not showing up or whatever, that people would love to have those seats. I don't know what the answer is there either. I'm not trying to come up with a perfect solution. I'm just saying that if
Well, we're not the people for the solution.
No, we're not. It's not our job. And I would say this though, and if I were a major ticket buyer of Neville Arena and I couldn't make it believably on a Tuesday or Wednesday night because I got to go to work and I got things to do and it's a 7 or 8 o'clock tip off and I live 2 or 3 hours away, but at least make sure somebody goes and sits in your seats. If you can't use them, just don't let them go unused. I think that's kind of the push. And I'm not telling people what to do. I'm just saying that if it were me, and I think you feel the same way, if you had season tickets and you couldn't make it to 6 or 7 games that were midweek games, you would go, hey,
I want someone to go sit in my seat to make sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not telling anybody what to do. You do what you want to do. But I would make sure that somebody was there. And that's kind of what I want to add to that. All right, let's close out here with Jeremiah Cobb. Again, I think it's great that Jeremiah Cobb is back. He had 946 yards rushing last year. I don't have it in front of me.
He had, whatever, 31 away from 969.
969, excuse me. All right. And because we all thought, well, he was going to break that easily against Mercer, and he didn't really play much after the first couple drives. But, the thing about Jeremiah Cobb, he's the one lone player on offense that comes back with any significant production or minutes. He is obviously a leader on this team. He was recruited by Brian Harsin. He kind of reminds me of Jarquez Hunter, and Jarquez Hunter could have been enticed to leave Auburn and go elsewhere his final year, but he decided to stick it out. Xavier Atkins definitely this past year could have been enticed to go somewhere else, decided to stick it out. Yeah. And Jeremiah Cobb, no doubt, has been enticed and asked, but has decided to stick it out and be an Auburn, have a chance to have a true Auburn legacy here. And I think that's the biggest thing that stands out to me is that you don't have to ask what you're getting in Jeremiah Cobb coming back in this room.
Yeah. Having him be here for all 4 years obviously is very rare when it comes to today's world of the transfer portal and all the things. But he wanted to stay committed to Auburn and leave his loyalty there. But now this year, with the guys that he's going to have back there with him, the complementing of each other and the way that he's going to be able to play and have his own role because of, him already being at Auburn, but each guy brings something different to that running back room. And then you've got Byron Brown, who can be a running back basically within himself.
People would love to have him.
Yeah.
As a 1,000-yard rusher.
I think he is going to just add so many different, not only key points for him to work off of, but just he's going to have, I think he's just got a really big opportunity this year in front of him to be one of the SEC leading rushers.
Without a doubt. And then you add in, as you just mentioned, Byron Brown with his legs and what Bryson Washington's going to bring to the table as a bigger back, a 1-2 punch back there. Again, we were talking about getting excited. March 17th, we'll get spring football practice kicked off. Very excited to see what this running back room looks like and the battery back there between the quarterback and all the guys. I think this is a deep room. It could be a massive and should be a massive asset to Auburn offensively. And if the offensive line comes together, which we've been saying for 15,000 years at Auburn, the offensive line can come together, you're going to have time to throw it, and then you're going to open up holes for running backs to run. And again, I just think it was massive for Jeremiah Cobb to come back. If you had to pick one guy, I know a lot of people would have said they'd love to have had Cam Coleman back, or, they would love to have had even Malcolm Simmons back or whatever. But, at the end of the day, a workhorse, a guy that was a true grinder, and always seemed to have a great attitude about everything, regardless of if he only had 10 yards against A&M or whatever. He was in it, for the right reason and wanted to stay the course. And I think, man, you can build off that.
And I think that's really gonna, have Alex Golish and his relationship to kind of move in the right direction, because that is the kind of player that Alex Golish wants to have on his team, somebody that wants to just work hard each and every day. And, even the days that you and I saw Jeremiah when he had that injury at the beginning of the year last year, I think it was like a broken finger or something.
Right.
And he was still there doing literally everything he could, but not trying to obviously injure himself anymore. But I mean, he still was there giving just as much effort as he would have without the cast on his arm.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
The soft cast too. So he really wasn't able to get too active because he didn't have one of the hard casts on.
Just a guy that you want on your team, and
Yeah.
very productive, premier back, and as one that would start for a lot of teams. Most all SEC teams, he'd be the starter. All right, let's talk about a few more of our partners and then some quotes from Alex Golish from last night up in Birmingham at the Own to Victory event. We'll talk about that here as we head out. But first things first, Oliver Ross for all your parties, gatherings, conventions, whatever it is that you might have, up to 20,000 people. I did say that, up to 20,000, because they've served at the Buckmaster Expo. They've done all those kind of things, all down to private parties that have 20 people. So they can handle everything from that extreme to anything between. So if you have a tailgate that you're wanting to plan moving in to the fall coming up, go ahead and contact Oliver Ross and get them lined up. They'll bring everything, set it up, break it down. You don't have to worry about it, and you can be the star of your own party and not be fumbling around with drinks and everything like that. Call the professionals, call on Oliver Ross. Check them out on Instagram and Facebook.
Russell Medical Center, right on Highway 280. You might see me drive by it on Wednesday if I can get the golf cart
Oh, man,
all the way up there with me. But I might end up there if I'm driving on Highway 280. Who knows? But it would be the best place for me to go, because they are one of the top best 3 hospitals in the state of Alabama. And if there is not something that they can take care of you there, they are partnered with UAB. And where else would you rather go than UAB? I can't think of anywhere else. So I had my heart screenings just last week from Russell Med. Had such a great experience. Got all mine back. Everything is all good over here, in case anybody was wondering.
Everybody was wondering, and we're all happy with that.
But yeah, everything came back all good. But if something didn't come back right, they would take initiative, make sure you get back in there and figure out what it is that you can do to better yourself. And we're going to keep up with, kind of what each month is going to be that they're focusing on, because that was something that when we went there, something they're really trying to prioritize is, do something like that, because again, it gets the community involved, all these different people coming in and out of their doors to take care of themselves and their health. So make sure if you have anything, you're going over to Russell Medical Center.
I couldn't have said it better myself. And Alex City Marine. Boat rental, sales, service, and storage. Call them 256-215-3474. I mean, you got to love center console boats, the black fins. You got to love the Landau. Pontoon boats, everything that you're looking for in a boat, they've got it. New and used, all powered by Suzuki, Mercury, and Honda, the best in the business. So what are you waiting for? As Faith said earlier, getting a little taste of that spring. Weather's warming up. I saw a lot of people zooming around on the lake. earlier this week. It's crazy. People get the spring fever, and you don't want to be the one left out in the cold. No pun intended. When everybody else has got a boat and you're sitting on the bank and you were wishing, and your entire family is pissed off at you because you didn't pull the trigger and do what you said you were going to do. So go fix that problem. Go to Alex City Marine, and they'll fix it for you. All right, Alex Golish stopped to talk to the media for about 5 minutes. Here's the summation of this. He was asked, what can fans expect? He said, been here 3 months, been working our butt off, and going to continue to do that and put forth 110% effort. He didn't exactly say it that way, but that's kind of the gist of it, that it's, hey, look, we've been working hard, and we're going to continue to work hard to be the best and give Auburn fans what they deserve. And he was also asked about Dallas Walker coming back, and he said, to be honest, it was a big surprise, but a massive get for them in a need position there on the defensive line, Faith.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we were going over last week, how thin that room was getting, having him come back and have that experience again, shocking to get him back, but the good kind of shock, because it's a huge pickup and bringing him, keeping him at Auburn too, not letting him go anywhere. I mean, it's big time for Auburn. And I love the way that Alex Golish continues just to talk about how hard everybody is already working.
Right.
And again, just how comfortable he's kind of starting to get at Auburn, his family. And obviously he was at baseball over the weekend, and
right.
Just the atmosphere there. It seems like he's starting to get settled in at Auburn, which is good. But I'm really loving what he's bringing to this program.
Absolutely. And then one of the other things he said, he was asked what has stood out to him so far in the first 3 months. He said the energy of the guys. He said just everybody's ripping and raring to go. And, I think that's kind of what we're all excited about too. And I think, with new everybody, kind of comes a rebirth, kind of comes a rejuvenation, kind of a clean slate. And you go, okay, what's been done in the past is no more. Let's not look in the rearview mirror. Let's look forward through the windshield, and let's go see what we can do and how good we can make this program.
Yeah, definitely excited to kind of hear and see what practice is like. You and I were just talking about last year how it was just repetitive, the way that we were walking in every year, or not every year, every practice, every day, and just kind of
felt like a year.
Yeah, it did. But I mean, I'm just really excited to go in there and just see the different energy and see what all the different positions are doing, and kind of what the conversation is happening. And again, you can feel energy. And so walking from one side to the other, I want to see if I feel the same kind of energy.
Yes, and I'm
or
sure
if it's a big drop off. I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
Let's not go back through that. I'm done with that. Let's maintain the same level of high intensity and energy from one side of the field to the other.
Please.
Is that a lot to ask? I don't think so.
Apparently.
I think it's expected now from Alex Golish. From just knowing him in a short amount of time, you better be getting after it. He looks like a guy that
I feel like if we don't look like we're on our A game, he's going to make us do a down and back or something. I don't know.
He may. You never know. So better bring your running shoes. That's all I can tell you. All right. As we wrap up here this morning, we do want to thank Glenda Mitchell and her law firm. Couldn't ask for better presenting partners of our Auburn Blitz programming all the way across the board. She's the best in the business. And Faith, I know you agree after we met with her a couple of weeks ago, and just how attentive she is to every single detail. And we hope none of you are ever in a car accident or your family. But if you are, Glenda Mitchell's who you need to call. And I'm being very serious when I say that, not just because we're partners. She's going to go out and fight for you. And in a time of where you're going to be dealing with injuries and things like that, you got to get what you deserve. And that's what Glenda Mitchell makes sure happens with her clients. And I think that's very special.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you and I are on the road every single day,
I mean, good
driving
Lord.
all across the state, and, God forbid something
We
were to happen.
literally drove across the state today, literally.
Yes, literally. God forbid something were to happen. I know exactly who's going to be on our side and who's going to be taking care of us, because, again, the way that she's so attentive and make sure that, you feel heard and you are seen, um, something that is just, you can't replace that anywhere.
No, you can't. So thanks to Glenda Mitchell and her entire team over there at the Glenda Mitchell Law Firm. So, all right, Faith, you got anything else this morning before we head out?
Hope everyone has the best day.
Absolutely. Do something nice for somebody out there. Be a shining light. We say that every single day. You never know when somebody needs to hear that positive comment. So be that person out there. So, again, we will be on location tomorrow at the Cart Source. We can't say enough about that. Faith's been jumping out of her skin to get on these golf carts, or multiple golf carts. So just say a little prayer for me to make sure everything goes the way it needs to go tomorrow. So, hey, but we will be back in the morning for more of the Auburn Blitz, and we'll see you at lunch tomorrow as well for the Auburn Blitz at the Cart Source. Everybody have a great day.